Hey guys, welcome to today's video on Facebook ads. Now, I wanted to quickly show this store. You can see here, been scaling this brand. You can see the sales up and down. This is in Australian, and focused on scaling this brand as a brand I've been scaling, and you can see that over this month it's increased. The conversion rate's increased, which is really nice, obviously, to see. Been doing a lot of back-end related work there, and this all comes from, a lot of this is Facebook ads. This is also, there's Google ads, and I'll be making more stuff on Google ads around this, showing more about this. I just want to be clear, this isn't like that hard, right? You can see here we're running things like email marketing campaigns, we're running Facebook ads, we're running Google ads, doing SEO, website conversion rate optimization. I'll be making videos all around that to sort of teach more about this as we further go into this. You can see that, like, the key is that the more orders you get, the more average, and with a high converting website, you'll get a higher average order value. Okay. Now, in terms of ad spend, I'll go into the ad account and we'll sort of talk a bit more about it. But this is, just an example of a great brand that anyone can build and grow and scale using these strategies. I'm going to show a Miro board. We're going to talk a bit about it and then go into the ad account and discuss that further. All right, guys. So here I've made a Miro board. You can get this down below. I'm just going to be doing this for future videos. I see a lot of people doing it. It works quite well. I'm only very new to this. But look, I wanted to sort of go into this and then go into the ads manager and sort of talk a bit about it. So in the beginning, you want to just start it as an Advantage Plus campaign. That's just very standard now. It's basically the equivalent of a Google Performance Max campaign, basically using AI, and it does a lot more of the work for you. You want the budget will be set, at least, I personally recommend $50 a day. But again, based on your budget, minimum of $20 a day. You want purchase optimization. You want a large audience, 2 to 10 mil, that's relevant to the product. So if you're selling a beauty product, right, you want to find what works really well is things like, I'll add that in, beauty magazines, always works damn well. Famous models or famous women, right? Like most women, right, wear makeup. So if you look at, very popular current women, that it works really, really well. And you want 3 AI UGCs. UGC is everything now. There's plenty of tools out there for it. I'll be making videos on it. There's tools like HeyGen and Creatify, for example, that work quite well. I personally use HeyGen, and I'll show you sort of how you can sort of do that as well. There's other ones as well, but that's sort of where I start. You want to make 3 AI UGC, and you really want to make it telling a story, the benefits of the product, with a simple link. You want to make it organic, right? Not too salesy, organic, right? And that's a very strong component. It has to be authentic as possible. Even though it's AI UGC, it should be authentic, and your product should back that up. If it does, then it'll work quite well. All right. So moving on, then step 2, what I normally do is I will also make another Advantage Plus campaign. I used to do a lot more manual campaigns, and I still somewhat do at times, but I'm moving more towards Advantage Plus. Just seems to work better now. And what you want to do is you want to just set up one custom audience in there. You set it up in the audiences. BC 30 days for that product using the URL is what I normally do. There's a number of ways you can go about doing it, but basically you want to make custom audience. If you want videos on specific related strategies of custom audiences, but you basically want to make custom audience 30 days. So whatever the URL for that page is, you want to make that 30 days, right? So view content is people that have viewed your website, may have added to cart, may have initiated checkout, but haven't purchased, right? Is normally what I do. You can do exclude purchase, of course, as well, but that's more advanced in the beginning when you're just starting to get traffic. You just want to go view content, works quite well. So that's generally just sort of what I do. You don't need to overcomplicate it. In the beginning, you start there. As you scale, you once you get more data, you start segmenting it, okay? And then you want to use one of your AI UGC creatives that is done best, usually based on cost per purchase, right? A lot of people look at ROAS, but ROAS, it peaks and troughs because but the thing that works best is cost per purchase, because the lower you can get your cost per purchase, you can optimize your website, your email marketing, get more leads, and improve your average order value and your profitability there. So what I normally do is I focus on my cost per purchase. If I can get the lowest cost per purchase possible, then I know that long term, especially when you scale and scale heavily, there's a fact that you'll see across, every expert will say, as you scale, your cost per purchase will go up. So if you can focus on ones that are getting the lowest cost per purchase, you're factoring in future cost per purchase expenses that will go up. Okay. And usually your ROAS is a lot better. Okay. And then you can do a lot of other things. You can do, as I said, email marketing, SMS marketing. You can do various types of things there that all help with that. Okay, so that's where I do that. And like, I optimize my website, optimize the funnel, look at how I can do that. I use tools that allow me to check the page and get feedback and stuff as well, so I can optimize the funnel and build a funnel. But that's for other videos. I will make videos on that. This one's just sort of Facebook ads. I plan to talk about sort of funnels and stuff as well. As you all sort of know, I use Beautify for mine. I'm also building a page builder as well that makes even better, more detailed landing pages. That's really, really important. Nonetheless, though, about with the Facebook ads, the step 3 is the scaling. Now, scaling doesn't need to be difficult, right? You can make a lot of different campaigns, but what I normally do is I'm a very conservative scaler. It is very expensive. We see so many videos of brands that are scaling, but in the beginning on a limited budget, I'm always very conservative. That's part of my nature. So what I normally do is I increase my budget of the Cold Advantage Plus campaign by 20% every 5 days. And I usually do that for about a month, right? Because, if you think about it, then over the course of a month, that's 5 to 6 increases if it's consistent. So you will have doubled the budget every month, but you do that every 5 days to audit it. You don't do 3 days anymore with Facebook to do it. It needs 5 days. I just find that bit longer, just the way the algorithm seems to work. Let it do its thing, right? When you have that product do its thing, focus on other things is what I would recommend in your brand, which would be your email marketing, your website branding, your website conversion rate optimization, average order value boosting strategies as well. And I'll make videos on apps and everything on how you can sort of do that. You want to add in another 2 AI UGC creatives. Okay, so you do want to, for your best ad sets, your best ad sets, best active ad sets, add 2 times AI UGC creatives based on past performance. So what you want to do is you want to make that, and that will work quite well for you. And then one thing that's key is, as you're scaling your remarketing budget, you want to increase it again. You don't want to increase it yet, go more granular, but you want to increase it. So if you're spending $100 a day on a cold campaign, $20 additional will be remarketing budget. You always want to keep it 10-20%, especially if it's very profitable. If it's not doing as well, 10%. If it's doing really well, 20%. I find that anything above 20% just doesn't seem to work that well. Your ROAS drops, because what happens is you'll keep remarketing the same people and your budget just gets wasted. That's how remarketing works. Because long term, as you further scale, which I'll make more videos on as well, what you then do is you start doing view content 1, 3, 7, 14, 30 minus add to cart, right? And then you want to do add to cart minus purchase. So you make a lot of custom audiences. It takes a bit to set up, but then you can target people at different levels and offer discounts, right? I don't really offer a discount much now for view content compared to add to cart or initiate checkout, right? Those people have shown clear intent, right? That they've gone to your website, they've added to cart, they've gotten further down that funnel. You want to push them to give that final step. And usually like a 10-15% discount works well. You don't want to go really far above that, because you want to do a lot of marketing via email marketing, and it hurts your brand long term. Trust me, as you build these brands, it'll hurt your brand long term. But step 4, when you're sort of further scaling, so let's say this is working well after a month. I'll put after a month. Is that you want to go, again, obviously I just have that there. That's what you want to do is you want to check age, gender, location, and placement, and see what's performing best, right? A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just target 18 to 65 plus. That's the default. But you might actually find, what I usually find is the gold one, let's say beauty again, is usually 25, 44. Okay, they're old enough where they have a larger amount of disposable income, but they're also young enough that they love to buy all these latest beauty trend items as well. And it's just, if I'm honest, I've found that usually 35-44 for a lot of women's products work really well. 20, it really sort of depends, but 25-44 is usually the one that you'll find performs best, usually to women. But you want to, depend on your product. You want to look for clear outliers. Facebook using Advantage Plus will automatically optimize to what is doing best. Hence why you use that. But you also want to double check and say, look, no, I just want to trim this campaign a bit. What you're doing is you're trimming. Okay, you're trimming the campaign and you're making it that bit better. Okay, so you look at age. It might be 55 plus doesn't work well. Maybe 18 to 54 is doing really well. Boom. That's 5-10% of your budget targeted. Simple little changes that don't require a huge amount of work. But the key part is that you find them based on cost per purchase. Again, don't look at ROAS. You'll find the ROAS will be really high because it might have spent $3 and ROAS will be high because it got one purchase, but that's not indicative of it being winning, right? Usually you want to look at something that might have at least 5 purchases because you want to see consistency, right? 1 is, just like 2 is like, oh yeah, okay, 3. Once you get 5 though, you're like, okay, this something's working, right? So if you can look at 5 and your cost per purchase is sort of looking good to what you would sort of be after, and usually for e-commerce products, $20 to $40 is usually sort of a good range. Then see, okay, boom, go from there. And what I usually do is I duplicate that whole campaign, my original one, exact same budget, exact same setup, except for I'll just go through all my ad sets and I'll just remove anything that I can where it's, I might find that women does better than men or men does better than women. I might find if I'm targeting US and Canada, maybe Canada's doing better, I'll target Canada. Because what you're doing is you don't want to ruin, when you build an ad account, there's as much as you get data, there's also something you can't really control to some extent, which is just sort of the fact that it's performing well and the algorithm will keep performing well. So don't turn that original campaign off, leave it, duplicate, because I've had many campaigns where I've done this and logically I'm like, wow, this makes perfect sense. I'm going to make a lot more money doing this. Logically it makes sense and it tanks. Sometimes actually letting Facebook do the work more actually works better. Sometimes it doesn't. That's why whenever you do a lot of these changes, leave the existing campaign as it is and duplicate it. And I see that as a mistake all the time. Okay, so that's basically, I wanted to give that as a bit of a snapshot. All right, so I'm just in the Facebook ad account now, and I've just got the current active campaigns, right? I've only got 2 campaigns because it's working quite well. You can actually see I'm only spending 100 a day because it's working well, and I'm focused a lot, honestly, on also Google Ads and SEO strategies. But anyway, I digress. You can see here the cost per purchase because it is cold and this is remarketing is higher, right? We're looking at nearly a 40% increase in terms of that, and that's why you always see ROAS is lower, right? You'll always see ROAS lower long term when your cost per purchase is higher. Your ROAS is always higher 90% of the time when your ROAS, when your cost per purchase is lower. Okay, so it's a very important distinction. Okay, I see everyone like spam these things about ROAS. Okay, but again, at the end of the day as well, ROAS is indicative of, it's just an arbitrary number. I've seen ROAS where the ROAS is 20 and they might still be barely break even because it might be a high ticket business, right? Because it costs a lot to fulfill the product, okay, and buy and manage the product. So it's important you keep that in mind as well. But, obviously you use ROAS as an indicator as well. What I normally do is I look at my columns. I've just added, because I sort of just sort of use these columns because it's well seasoned. But one of the other ones that I normally recommend people do is I don't go clicks all. I go unique link clicks and cost per link click. Okay, unique link clicks basically is just a more indicative, more reliable stat. Clicks all could be, I could click your ad 20 times and it counts it. Okay, it's not very reliable. So to show you, right, if I put clicks all, okay, you'll see that the, pardon me, whoops. They're always changing it. Cost per unique link click. Okay, so just ignore me. This is where you set up your custom columns how you want, but you can see here, like, cost per unique link click, is actually always higher, right? So this means if I look at these two, it actually means that there have been people that have re-clicked the ads. And that's where this is. I always try and use unique because it's just a lot more of a reliable statistic, is sort of what I normally do there. Now, as I said, I have videos on DPA and that. I'll be making more videos on advanced marketing strategies and other Facebook ones as I'm getting back into this. I've missed doing this, and this is my style. Is that, as I said, like you can see the ROAS is much better there. I've actually optimized this. So basically now I had 3 campaigns that I duplicated into it, and I found one campaign has performed a lot better. I've been running this campaign for a very long time, right? So if I put April, okay, so you can see that the other one had done well last month too, but you can actually see the ROAS was significantly lower, right? And do you see how that the cost per purchase was much higher, the ROAS much lower? Cost per purchase much lower, because this was using AI UGC and stuff as well, and although it spent a lot less, look at the amount of purchases it got compared to spending $700, right? So that's why I was like, boom, okay, focus on that one. I spent the money, got the data, and it's worked quite well. And that's where I continue to focus on that, and I'll continue to focus on that. As I said, if things aren't working well, just turn it off, right? I looked at this one. While the ROAS was good, this is an indication that what happened is someone that had purchased had spent. So the reason that it had got an 8.9 ROAS is you can easily calculate this. Okay, so 33.3 times by 8.69. Someone that purchase was a large order of $289, right? So if I were to go and backtrack or something, whatever, I would find an order around that amount. But that's not indicative, because as you can see, this one has a lot more purchases, but overall the ROAS is much lower. This one has a much lower cost per purchase, but this one does a lot better, right? So one of the things that's very important for people to keep in mind as you're running Facebook ads is focus on cost per purchase first. You want a lot of purchases. Purchase. You know, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You want to see that all the time, because then you're going to get more leads. You're going to get more opportunities for upsells. You're going to get more opportunities for average order value. So you focus on quantity, okay, at the cheapest amount, and then you can improve everything as a step 2, right? So that's a very important indication to keep in mind. That I always do. Now, this works for e-commerce, this works for SaaS, this works for anything. Cost per purchase is your number one indicator of something working well. And so I always focus on that statistic. It's a universal thing that just works well. Whether you're looking at trial, or whether you're looking at a purchase, or whether you're looking at a book a call, the more the better is what you're really aiming at, and the cheaper you can get it, the better, because everything else can be optimized after the fact. Okay, otherwise, as you can see here, I was running unprofitable. So very important to keep that in mind there as well. This isn't anything too hard. Get the Miro board. I hope that really, really helps. I'm going to be making more videos on various hacks and stuff on Facebook, and going through sort of beginner, but also I really like advanced content. That's sort of where I sit. I'm going to be doing a lot more Facebook and Google stuff, which is where I really align to, and Shopify related stuff, which is where my years upon years of experience is as well. So please, I hope that you enjoy that. Other than that, thank you so much for watching today. Have a lovely day. Take care, and goodbye.